to start off, because I didn't want it to be about Pokemon for the beginning of the year, we're gonna make this about another gaming franchise, and me and the Ryder Brothers were talking about this in a messenger call this morning. Not even messenger call, but like messenger chat this morning. Well, as this was going up yesterday morning, talking about Mega Man. I haven't talked about Mega Man at all on this channel. I don't think I have. And it's crazy because I love Mega Man. I love Mega Man since the first cartoon series had came out on TV when I was a kid. Never really got to play much of the Mega Man games, even though I still want to. I think that's the thing I'm gonna have to start putting on the channel, is playing Mega Man instead of playing Pokemon all the time. But that will be a goal for this year. This year, I am going to do my best to not do everything Pokemon on this channel and give much more variety to other things rather than just that. But first, let's do a going back to the basics, if you will, and just review the history of Mega Man. I feel like I should be doing that right now. If I want to play Mega Man, why not talk about this? Why not do a reaction to this? So that's what we're going to do. This is going to be the history of Mega Man. Reacting to the history of Mega Man, a whole documentary by PatmanQC. History of I think that's what it says. History of arcade games. For his channel name. Okay, so let's do it.
Looking at arcade companies in the 1980s, there were two names at the top of the food chain that consistently created quality content and games that were just flat out fun to play. The first one is Konami with their Contra, Metal Gear, and Castlevania series. Other classics they released were Russian Attack, Gyrus, Track and Field, and the 4-player extravaganza Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The other big name that is right up there head-to-head is Capcom. They have released a number of huge titles, including Strider, Ghosts and Goblins, Resident Evil, Final Fight, and of course, Street Fighter 2.
Yep. Yeah. Capcom was crazy.
The franchise we are talking about today stars a little blue robot who goes by the name of Mega Man, or Rockman if you are in Japan. This character would take Japan and the rest of the world by storm with a series of games that are still going strong today.
Okay, there we go.
What is the sports game that Mega Man was involved in? What does rock superstars Guns N' Roses have to do with this series? So oil your joints and recharge your weapons, because this is the history of Mega Man Part 1. The year is 1987, and Capcom designer Akira Kitamura is hard at work designing his next game.
Right.
He had been working on a platformer in which a little blue robot has to defeat all the bosses and save the day. When Mr. Kitamura was creating the world for Mega Man, and before he had figured out the gameplay system, originally there was no Mega Man, no Roll, and no Dr. Light. Cutman was the hero, and he imagined a game where he would use scissors on his head to cut down the enemies and other obstacles.
Are you serious?
The character wasn't always known as Mega Man, though, as some of the preliminary titles for the game included Mighty Kid, Knuckle Kid, and Rainbow Battle Kid.
Wow,
Once
Rainbow
Mega Man
Battle Kid?
The robot master's power, he does change colors.
What?
This could be why Capcom wanted to change the name to Rainbow Battle Kid. Capcom finally decided on Rockman, with the rock being a reference to not only rock and roll, but also his sister, who went by the name of Roll. Capcom Consumer Products President Joe Morici hated the name and eventually changed it to Mega Man.
Why?
The pixel art
Rockman was fine.
Mr. Kitamura, with refined designs by Keiji Inafune. The influences for the character were Astro Boy, Kamen Rider,
Really?
Cass Hand, and Ninja Captor.
Wait a minute. Go. Hold on. So the main, one of the main influencers for Mega Man was Kamen Rider? That is... My childhood all the way up till now has now come full circle. It's now come full circle. Wait till Urban Ninja hears about this, because he loves Mega Man. And the fact that it was partially inspired from Kamen Rider. And now, but you know what? Now that I think about it, it makes sense. It makes sense. It does. But holy crap. Wow.
Cass Hand, and Ninja Captor. The character of Mega Man was initially going to be white. Mr. Kitamura had chosen the color blue because of the limited palette available.
Okay.
Out of the entire palette, there were more shades of blue than any other color, which resulted in much clearer animation. As I mentioned, Mega Man will assimilate the Robot Master's power after defeating him and change colors. According to Mr. Inafune, he felt it would be weird to have a blue character shoot red flames after absorbing Fireman's power. Speaking of animations, the development team decided to incorporate bits of anime into Mega Man's design. For example, when he uses his Mega Buster, you can see the gun come out of his arm.
Oh,
they
wow.
wanted to make sure this was animated in a nice, smooth, realistic manner. When designing his game, Mr. Kitamura had noticed a flaw in other people's game designs and realized after play testing dozens of games that people would die too quickly at certain points and wanted to rectify that for this project. He was very conscious about enemy placement as well as how long
So he gave you an
complete the
HP
game.
bar.
He did this by calculating how fast Mega Man walks through the levels. The enemies would start out easy but gradually get harder throughout the game.
Okay.
Mega Man's weapon of choice is his Mega Buster, which is a cannon strapped to his arm. The weapon is very effective and really knocks the enemies for a loop. This was the first game to allow a non-linear level select, allowing you to pick which level you start on. At the end of each stage is a boss master, which you have to defeat to advance in the game. Once he is defeated, you will absorb his power and be able to use him throughout the rest of the game. The gameplay was inspired by Rock, Paper, Scissors, with the project supervisor stating he wanted deep gameplay.
Okay.
The sound effects and music were created by Maname Matsumai in just 3 months.
Wow.
The original game was released in December 1987, but it did not sell well. However, it did sell enough to warrant an American localization and release. With that localization came the infamous box art. The president of Capcom USA had wanted the cover done by the next day, so one of the friends on the development team cranked this out in just 6 hours.
No
The reason it
wonder.
looked so terrible is because he had never played the game or seen any of the source material.
So we literally got this because of a rush job. I never knew that. So the reason why this art is even a thing was because the dude that knew nothing about Mega Man, never played it, never even seen it, rushed through this art and made it about 6 hours, in like 6 hours, and then how did that even get greenlit? How did that even? I feel like this should be redone only for like the Mega Man art. This art in particular, instead of him holding a gun, to just replace it with his cannon, his cannon arm. I feel like that should just be somebody should do that. Somebody should just do that. Just like Capcom, like seriously. If we gonna like listen, yo. If y'all do anything, can y'all redo this art and give us a new Mega Man game? Or better yet, continue the canceled Mega Man game that apparently y'all had scrapped, and do something with this cover art. Make it about this cover art. And just replace the gun with his arm cannon. Like, oh man, I never knew that till now.
Everything from the color scheme to the landscape and finally Mega Man holding a regular pistol is just horrendous.
Yes.
The artist was told not to make it as cutesy as the Japanese art, so he went with a semi-realistic version. This terrible box art was believed to be the reason that the game sold poorly in the North American market.
No shit.
Mr. Kitamura had requested that a sequel be developed because he knew that the gameplay was solid. His bosses at Capcom agreed as long as he worked on other projects for them at the same time. Speaking of Mega Man 2 and its sequels, most of the bosses in the game were designed by the fans. Every year, Capcom would hold a contest for fans to submit their artwork, and the best ones would then be put into the next game.
Really?
While the first contest only garnered 8,700 submissions, by the time Mega Man 3 came out, there were over 50,000.
Oh my
The
god!
series turned out to be a massive success with over 50 games on various systems. Due to the massive success, the game would be licensed out to a number of companies. These would include everything from t-shirts, toys, manga, cartoons, and even Mega Man branded home pregnancy tests.
Excuse me? What?
And even Mega Man branded home.
There's a joke somewhere in here. I just don't have the energy to say it. I just don't. Continue playing. Continue playing.
Pregnancy tests.
After these messages, we'll be right back. Yeah. スーパーロックマン世界の平和のため7つの武器を駆使して悪魔のロボット軍団を倒せアイテムいっぱい
Wow.
スーパーアドベンチャーゲームファミコンソフトロックマン好評発売中
Well, let's start our journey with the original Mega Man, which was released in December of 1987. As the story goes, it's the year 20XX, and Dr. Light has created a number of robots to assist mankind with industrial tasks.
Right.
This includes Rock, alongside a housekeeping robot by the name of Roll, who is considered to be Rock's sister. One day, the 6 industrial robots go berserk and start destroying Monsteropolis. Dr. Light soon realized it was his old rival, Dr. Wily, who turned his robots against everyone and is plotting to take over the world. His helper robot, Rock, sees what is happening and has offered to turn himself into a fighting robot to stop Dr. Light. Thus, Mega Man was born. The US version was a little bit different as far as the story goes. Instead, with Dr. Light and Dr. Wily co-creating Mega Man alongside the 6 android robots. Dr. Wily turns on Dr. Light and reprograms the Six into taking over the world, creating the 7 empires of Monsteropolis. You take on the role of Mega Man, which is a side-scrolling platformer in which you have to face various enemies to reach the boss or robot master of each stage. You have a fire button for your Mega Buster and also a jump button to get to those pesky, hard-to-reach places. As I mentioned, the unique aspect of this game is that you can select the level you want to start on. Your weapon of choice is your Mega Buster, which is a giant cannon that comes out of your arm. After you defeat the robot master, you assimilate his signature attack or special weapon, which can then be used for the rest of the game. The difference being the assimilated powers have limited ammunition, which have to be replenished by cells that are dropped at random by the enemies.
Okay.
Enemies can also drop cells that will replenish your energy. It is possible to play any level at your choosing, but certain enemies are more vulnerable to specific attacks, which involves a bit of strategy. Once you defeat all 6 levels, a 7th level will open up in the center of the stage select screen. In this level, you have to traverse the Dr. Wily's Robot Factory, which is a chain of 4 stages linked together. The bosses you fight are Cutman, Gutsman, Iceman, Bomb Man, Fireman, and Elect Man, which rumor has it, his costume was based on Wolverine.
No wonder he looked like that. No wonder he looked like that. The more you know.
The final boss of the game is the Wily Machine 1. There is a point system in place, but it really doesn't do anything as there are no high score tables and you don't get any extras. This was later dropped in subsequent games. The game is very difficult as there is no password system, so you have to fight every boss every time once you start a new game. Speaking of the boss masters, the game was initially supposed to have 8, but wound up only having 6 due to memory constraints.
Oh, wow.
The sequels would all be just a tad bit easier. The game is still fun to play though, despite this small hitch, but greater things for Mega Man were yet to come.
I honestly want to play all the Mega Man games now. Like all the way back to the beginning. Mega Man 1, Mega Man 2, all the way through 7 and 8, and then Mega Man X. I want to play all of them.
Mega Man 2 was released the following year in 1988. At the insistence of Capcom's higher-ups, this game was to be developed in between the home port of Legendary Wings and Professional Baseball Murder Mystery.
What the hell?
Which the company felt these titles would be more profitable than another Mega Man. The story boils down
You'd be
to
wrong.
Dr. Wily making his evil return and you having to take down all of the new boss masters. The development time on this game was 4 months, and if you factor in sifting through 8,000 submissions for boss masters, it did not leave a whole lot of time for gameplay refinement. The higher-ups felt that the difficulty was too advanced on the first game and worked with the development team to make sure everything was more balanced.
Well, see, here's my whole thing about this. For game developers, I understand that that they're trying to make sure that people enjoy the game as much as possible, but you don't have to make it so easy. Some people like a challenge. Some people like that challenge. Some people that's partially the reason why people love like hardcore, hard games, like Metroid and or like on hard mode, or a Pokemon on hard mode. Like, people just love challenges. They don't mind getting wrecked every once in a while. They don't mind it.
The controls were tightened up along with the introduction of energy tanks, which completely refills your health bar.
Okay.
These can be found at certain points in the game. Even better, your character can hold up to 4 of these at any given time. There are a couple of unlockable tools for transportation, such as levitating platforms and jet-propelled sleds. The memory capacity of the cartridge was doubled, which allowed a nice intro with excellent music, and finally 8 boss masters this time around. The backgrounds do not recycle as much, so every level has a unique, fresh look. The controls did stay the same, but with the refinements to the gameplay, the game, in my opinion, is just more fun to play. The bosses that you encounter are Metal Man, Airman,
Oh, wow.
Bubble Man,
Okay, there's Bubble Man.
Quick Man,
Quick Man. Okay.
Crash Man,
Flash Man.
Flash Man, Heat Man, and Wood Man. The final boss of the game that you face after defeating all of the previous 8 is Irian. The music was created by Takashi Tatishi and is still regarded as some of the greatest tunes ever created for a video game, and it was created back in 1988.
Wow.
In the North American release, there is a difficulty select which does help out. The scoring system was also removed and a much needed password system was added.
Okay.
'90 brought us the release of Mega Man 3. Mr. Kitamura had left Capcom, and the rest of the team were reassigned to work on DuckTales, but that didn't stop the
DuckTales?
Mega Man 2 was a bona fide success, so another entry into the series was a given. In this one, Dr. Wily has seen the error of his ways and is now working with Dr. Light on a giant peacekeeping robot by the name of Gamma that would be powered by 8 energy crystals scattered throughout the universe. The 8 robot masters go bananas and refuse to give up the crystals. Mega Man and his faithful dog Rush travel to various planets to retrieve the crystals and save the day. Once again, we have similar gameplay to the previous entries, although Mega Man does have a new offensive maneuver, which is the slide. This helps him slide under enemy attacks and also low-lying barricades. Just like previous entries, each robot master is weak to another special weapon. The robot bosses you encounter are Top Man, Hard Man,
Wow.
Spark Man, Gemini Man, Needle Man, Magnet Man, Shadow Man, and Snake Man. The final boss that you have to face is Gamma. Your faithful companion Rush is also there to help you with a variety of tasks, some of which will launch Mega Man into the air and being able to turn into a jetboard that Mega Man can ride across large pits. This game introduced Mega Man's mysterious brother Proto Man. There is a glitch in the game that if you plug in a second controller and press right on the D-pad, Mega Man...
Wait a minute. Okay, I have to... I see I'm going to have to find this. There's lore about Mega Man. I didn't know Proto Man was technically his brother. Oh, wow. No, because with how I remember Proto Man was... He was literally a prototype of what Mega Man was going to be. And one day, I think it was a comic, like he went rogue and went off on his own and didn't come back. And then Rock and Roll came after that. And then Mega Man was born. But I didn't know technically that was his brother. Wow. I didn't know that.
Just the entire
It's been so long since I've watched that series. I gotta go back and I have to invest more in Mega Man. I obviously, it's obvious.
And it's just a little bit easier than the previous entry. The game looks fantastic with some of the best graphics on the series so far. One downside though is that there is a fair amount of slowdown, but at least the flickering has been kept to a minimum. This was the only Mega Man game to be featured in the Nintendo Play Choice 10 arcade unit.
Really?
The game is essentially the same except that it does run on a timer just like every other title in the unit. Also that same year, a weird entry into the Mega Man franchise was introduced, and that was Mega Man for MS-DOS.
What?
This was developed by High Tech Expressions, who had previously released such classics as Barbie, Tom and Jerry, and Sesame Street 1, 2, 3.
What in
which
the
I
heck?
still play when I'm rusty on my numbers. So why wouldn't they be the perfect fit for this beloved series? For starters, there are only 3 boss masters to face, which are Sonic Man,
And there's no
Dino
music?
Man, and
What?
Voltman.
What? Trash. There's no
The
music.
gameplay is similar to the original Mega Man, but the controls are incredibly stiff and feel awful.
I bet they are.
While the graphics and colors are decent, the scrolling is not and really disrupts the gameplay. There is no music, but there is plenty of Queefaroo just for you. Considering only the PC speaker is supported, perhaps that's a good thing. The game itself is incredibly difficult with cheap Deathsamundo. Thanks must be given that there are only 5 stages to get through, especially when you consider the insane difficulty as well as the dodgy controls. Graphics from this game were ripped and used in Duke Nukem 1 for the PC.
What the fuck? This is a bootleg. Okay, it's bootleg. Whenever I see stuff like that, I already know it's bootleg. If that's the case, yeah, it's bootleg.
It's a horrendous first outing on the PC.
Whenever I see stuff like that, yeah, it's nah. It's bootleg. Ain't no freaking way. It's literally an official bootleg.
1991, the very first portable version of Mega Man, not counting the Tiger LCD version, was released for the Game Boy. Titled Mega Man Dr. Wily's Revenge, this game takes place after Mega Man 2, and once again,
Okay.
Dr. Wily is mad to the max and has created 8 new robot masters in an attempt to take Mega Man down. According to Mr. Inafune, this was the first game to be outsourced by Capcom, but thankfully, the developers were huge fans of the series and they did a great job bringing it to the small screen.
Oh wow.
The game uses recycled elements from Mega Man 1 and 2, with the select screen only offering 4 robot masters to choose from. The first 4 are from Mega Man 1 and include Electman, Fireman, Iceman, and Cutman.
Okay, so the
After defeating these
more
four bosses,
iconic
you are
ones.
given a carry, which is a temporary platform to transport Mega Man across large pits. After this, you are transported to Dr. Wily's Fortress stage. This is a colossal stage where you have to defeat 4 new robot masters, all recycled from Mega Man 2, including Quick Man, Bubble Man, Flash Man, and Heat Man. After you defeat these bosses, you face the final robot master, which is Inker. Even though the robot masters are recycled from previous games, this is not a direct port of either Mega Man 1 or 2.
Wow.
It does borrow certain enemies from the games, but there are lots of new ones for this incarnation as well. All of the levels are new, and for a portable unit, they are quite diverse. The difficulty has been ramped up, but at least we have a password system this time around. Playability-wise, it's pure Mega Man, only on a smaller scale. Released just a mere 6 months after the first Game Boy game, Mega Man 2 was released for the Game Boy. The game merges elements from Mega Man 2 and Mega Man 3 to create a new experience.
Okay.
Personally, I could have done without this experience. As the story goes, Dr. Wily steals himself a time machine from a research lab to go back in time and change the past. Dr. Wily's luck is no better with time machines because this one can only go into the future and return right back to the present. Being the nefarious, evil genius that he is, he does come back with a brand new robot by the name of Quint. He is convinced that Quint will do his bidding and take care of Mega Man once and for all. The 4 robot bosses that did not appear in Dr. Wily's Revenge show up, as well as Top Man, Needle Man, Hard Man, and Magnet Man from Mega Man 3. One difference being that 4 of the bosses have their own stages with transporters in Dr. Wily's Fortress. Your dog Rush is available, but only after beating the bosses who hold his power-ups. A different developer was used this time around instead of the one on Dr. Wily's Revenge, and it definitely shows.
Wow.
According to Mr. Inafune, the developer was not familiar with Mega Man at all. Everything about this game just seems a bit off, from the level design to the stiff controls to the
Okay, yeah. Can we get game developers that are familiar with the source that they're supposedly creating from? Can we just do that? Because I'm hearing more and more about, developers not knowing what they're looking at, and then they create something and it's just like, what were they thinking? And it's just like they weren't thinking about the thing at all. They were just trying to get paid. So it's like,
awful music and screechy sound effects. This is one of the worst handheld Mega Man games, and needless to say, Capcom did not use this developer ever again.
wow. And I'm glad that he didn't. I'm glad that they didn't. I'm glad. Shoot.
And that brings us to the end of the history of Mega Man Part 1. This is going to be a long series, folks, so I hope you hang around to see all the various incarnations of our favorite Blue Bomber. While you're waiting for Part 2, if you've never tried Mega Man, it's definitely worth checking out.
You're right. You're right. It's worth it in every shape and form. I am going to upload this and probably upload part 2 in the same day, because I want to keep watching this. But yeah, so if you guys would like to, could you let me know your whole thing behind, if you had any history with Mega Man? Do you play Mega Man games? I know Urban Ninja's probably going to comment his whole I encourage it for him to, you know, comment his whole love and history behind Mega Man, and anyone else who has love for the blue bomber, the super fighting robot. But yeah, post your comments down below. Whatever story that you got, I'm willing to listen. I'm literally revisiting Mega Man. But yeah, with that being said, I'm gonna get up out of here. Y'all stay tuned for part 2. Okay, I'm out. Peace.
Super fighting robot, Mega Man. Super fighting robot, Mega Man. Super fighting robot.